The Group of Nine. The fifth wave of Emancipation, a greeting from home. Dear friends, a great change has already begun. Humanity stands on the threshold of a new era, though many do not yet see it clearly. They feel it deep in their hearts as restlessness, as uncertainty, as the sense that the old ways can no longer contain the light now entering the earth. The waves of change ahead will move quickly and touch every aspect of human life. Some changes will seem to come from inventions, systems, and technological breakthroughs. Others will arrive as an awakening of consciousness, so profound that the human spirit can no longer ignore it. There are also gifts hidden in what is about to unfold. Many of the coming changes will offer humans new ways to live in harmony with the earth. New understandings will emerge, making it possible to use energy, food, healing, communication, and resources more wisely. The earth itself has waited for this shift. She has supported humanity patiently, even through times of imbalance. Now the earth asks for collaboration, and these new tools on the horizon will make things easier. But tools alone will not save humanity. They must be accompanied by an awakened heart. The wave of change begins. A mass awakening is approaching, but much of it will remain hidden at first. Instead of appearing as enlightenment, it may often show up as resistance, confusion, frustration, or even fear. Humans tend to resist what changes them, even when that change is sacred. They cling to what is familiar because it gives them the illusion of safety. Yet beneath this resistance, millions of people are beginning to sense that something has shaped their thoughts, directed their attention, and influenced their emotions. In time, humans on Earth will awaken to the awareness that they have long been influenced and controlled in ways they did not fully understand. This has happened through technology, energies, and beings beyond their current awareness, including extraterrestrial influences. But do not think that extraterrestrials are inherently good or bad. They cannot be generalized. Some work diligently to help humanity take this step, while others wish to offer false hope and take advantage of people's frustration during these changes. The reality is that more than 144 races visit Earth. Those with the greatest influence are the 4 ancestral races who watch over you. They were on Earth before humans, and throughout history, many have even been considered divine and called gods. Yes, this awareness will be unsettling for some. This knowledge is not given to instill fear, but so that humanity may reclaim its heritage. Because once a human being sees the strings that control them, they can choose no longer to be moved by them. As the veil begins to thin, truth emerges naturally. And truth, dear ones, does not come to punish. Truth comes to set you free. Awakening into your power, this awakening marks the beginning of a new phase for humanity. It is not the end of the human story, but its conscious beginning. Humans have considered themselves insignificant for far too long. They have given their power away to systems, leaders, devices, and invisible influences because they forgot that the spark of creation resides within them. Now that spark is awakening, inviting each one to remember, you were never here to follow the machine. You are here to bring spirit into matter, love into form, and heaven into everyday life. All of this is accomplished through how you treat other humans. And that is why we remind you to look for similarities, not differences. As the wave of energy unfolds, new teachers will emerge. Some will come dressed in ordinary clothes, speaking simple truths with a frequency that awakens others. Others will be children carrying clarity far beyond their years. Beings and intelligences will also come from beyond the veil. These beings have never before been accessible in this way, because humanity was unable to maintain the vibration necessary to meet them consciously. The doors between worlds are opening more fully. For this reason, channeling will become a common practice. It will no longer be considered rare or reserved for a select few. Humans on Earth will begin to trust their inner knowing and their direct connection in new ways. What has been called intuition will grow stronger. What has been called channeling will become natural. People will discover that the divine has always spoken, but now they are willing to listen. Reminder: we remind humans that you are not victims of this change, but active participants and builders of the bridge between worlds. It will be you who choose whether technology becomes the servant of life or its master. It will be you who decide whether the awakening turns into fear or freedom. Do not let the fear of making mistakes prevent you from letting your light shine. As humans on Earth, we ask you to breathe deeply and hold your heads high. Bless the earth beneath your feet. Welcome the new light, even when it turns everything upside down. Because what lies ahead is not the fall of humanity, but its rebirth. Love deeply and allow yourselves to receive love. Treat yourselves with respect, take care of one another, and play well together. We are the collective known as the Group of Nine, and we love you dearly. Espavo. Timeline splitting, dearest ones. Many of Earth's current timelines are being created in this time of great polarity and accelerated ascension. Every time we make a choice, a new timeline is created. Observe every thought, feeling, and action. Witness yourself and the process, as if by doing so, everything tells you what you are bringing into being. There are no surprises for conscious creators. As ascending souls, you know what resonates and what does not. Listen to your feelings to open or dissolve timelines. What will determine the final creation or dissolution of our personal and planetary timeline is our conscious intention and action. The new Earth is not so much a physical place as an inner choice to remain in our luminous hearts, infusing the chosen timeline with enough light to stay in the precise dimensional band and space we desire. We have a stellium in Aries helping us burn old bridges and step into illuminated timelines. We are surrounded by formidable, neutral forces that can help us destroy or build, for everything is as we desire it, and as we choose to embody that energy. Our daily choice to participate or not in what is shown to us is essential to continue sustaining the harmonic timeline of our new Earth. To stay anchored in your new harmonic timeline, strengthen your Hara line, open your crystalline blue lotus heart, and above all, purify your gallbladder and the four-dimensional body's meridian to seal it from any astral anomalies or other influences that could pull you back into the lower dimensions, allowing your life force to flow freely throughout your body. Address your DNA daily through conscious decrees, creating valid orders to gently command it to release old patterns, free itself from old programming and residual energies, and adapt to the new crystallization process many of you are undergoing as you recover your authentic template. Your DNA responds to you, no one else. Create orders that can gradually help you move into your new space. Remember, the most important thing is to change your action. Otherwise, we give conflicting orders to our DNA. Action aligned with thought is key to instant reprogramming. However, if after this new command we continue doing what we did before, our actions will prevail because our DNA is pure divine wisdom, and it understands that what we ultimately prefer is what we do, not what we say. Be impeccable in thoughts, feelings, and actions to be in sync with your new frequency. In time, it will become an organic way of being, even if at first we must work hard to balance the ego, its constant fear of the unknown, and all its attempts to sabotage what we are creating. Many of you perceive the collapse of your old world, and despair, anxiety, and worry may emerge as your nervous system, fascia, and brain-heart complex adjust to the new frequency. Trust everything that is happening in your reality. You are being redirected by a higher intelligence to where you now need to be. You may also perceive that other people are being taken away from you. They too are being redirected, repositioned, and guided to where they also need to be. Do not force anything or anyone. You do not know where everything fits perfectly. The divine knows. Let divine intelligence move you away from where you should not be. Do not resist. Do not force it if it is not yet time to leave. Allow divine time to manifest in your existence as the only possible moment to change, move, or transform. When the time comes, you will know. In the direction we are heading, there is no possibility of controlling or micromanaging the universe. There is only the divine will for all, and we must accept it. Otherwise, we will be sucked back into the old 3D timeline. Many times, we will go back and forth until we realize it is not where we belong. Other times, we will leave gracefully if we have first surrendered to our new destination, which is not always a physical space, but a place of the soul. Wherever you are, allow yourself to be, live, and feel what you need in each moment. Everything is leading you to understand who you are now and what you need to heal, release, or transform to reach the destination you desire. Love, respect, and honor yourself and your choices unconditionally. No guilt or blame, only responsibility and change in action to neutralize lower unconscious thoughts, feelings, and actions and redirect your path. Because on this plane we are learning, remembering how to be sovereign beings at an energetic and spiritual level, and the harder we are on ourselves, the harder it will be to break free from the lower programs that once governed our bodies, our minds, and therefore our choices. You are becoming who you truly are, reinventing yourselves and rebuilding your reality. Give yourselves time, compassion, and care to continue consolidating it, dearest ones. Within infinite love, Natalia, Alba, Pleiadian Council, Uncharted Paths greetings, dearest ones. We are the Pleiadian Council. We connect with each of you to share our insights and guidance along your evolutionary path. Dearest ones, the wounds you carry inside are not signs of weakness, but paths still open. Many of you have been taught to survive pain, not to face it. Yet healing begins the moment you turn toward the pain you once avoided. Your trauma does not ask to be erased. It asks to be seen, felt, and held without judgment so that it may evolve beyond its lower frequency and reach higher states of wholeness. Dear friends, when emotions like grief, anger, or fear arise, do not try to silence them. Silencing them means suppressing them. Your unresolved traumas or pains are not enemies, but messengers that were once ignored. Allow this energy to speak to you in a safe, grounded way through your presence. Healing is not a straight line, but a spiral. You may experience the same emotions again, but each time with greater awareness, more compassion, and more strength. By facing the suppressed densities, you are not going backward. You are diving deeper into a lasting healing process. Dearest ones, your body holds memory, so we ask you to breathe gently. Place your hand where you feel the pain and remind yourself that you are here and now. Remind yourself that you are safe now. Dearest ones, we ask you to let go of the illusion that time alone heals all wounds. This is a heartbreaking statement that keeps you trapped in the low frequencies of trauma. It is your attention that heals. It is love that transforms trauma through your awareness. Forgiveness of others will come, but do not force it. Feel it. Remember that boundaries are to be set when necessary. These boundaries we speak of are not limitations on yourself, but limits on what you have allowed to disturb your sacred field. Dearest ones, you have the right to outgrow the versions of yourselves built in survival mode. In doing so, you will begin to experience something unknown: peace without tension, rest without fear, and joy without guilt. It is not something you must earn, but something you must remember to reclaim your wholeness. We, the Pleiadian Council, are delighted to have had this opportunity to connect with each of you. We constantly send to you, to your world, and to all its inhabitants our unconditional love and guidance. Pleiadian Council, the meaning of life. Being human, the question of life's meaning is as old as humanity itself. Over the centuries, countless answers have been offered. Yet many people continue to perceive their existence as meaningless. They feel down, depressed, or even desperate. Some see no way out and take their own lives, even the young. Especially when life hurts, the question arises spontaneously: what is the point of all this? We are often told that life only acquires meaning when we achieve a specific goal: happiness, self-realization, or some particular life purpose we are supposed to discover. But that would mean life is meaningless for many people who never reach such a goal. True meaning cannot be a reward for success or a milestone reachable only by a few. It must be based on something we all share, regardless of our successes or failures. In other words, if life has meaning, it has meaning for everyone, no matter what they do with their lives. It is not conditional on anything. It is an unconditional gift to every human being. If life had no meaning, it simply would not exist. Even when everything goes wrong, even when everything seems to fail, life retains meaning. What we consider a meaningless life actually has meaning. The reason we often do not experience it this way has everything to do with how we were taught to think and judge as children. How we learn to think about meaning, one of the first things we teach children is to think in terms of right and wrong. I still vividly remember elementary school. A thick red line was drawn through every mistake I made. If you got everything right, everyone was happy and proud. You got top marks and were allowed to write with colored ink, except yellow, because the teacher couldn't read it easily. In those days, we still used nib pens and inkwells. Children who made too many mistakes had to repeat the year. They were separated from the group, which was a severe punishment. In those days, no one really considered the psychological impact this had on the child. The list of things a child could do wrong seemed almost endless. In short, we were raised to see everything through the lens of right and wrong, especially our choices. Growing up largely meant learning to internalize norms and values, which for a child felt completely unnatural. Without realizing it, we began to treat our entire lives like an exam. If we accumulate too many red lines, we fail and have to start over. This leads us to believe that life only has meaning if we do things the right way. Traditional religion extends this same binary thinking: God versus Satan, heaven versus hell, believers versus non-believers. It saddles us with the terrible idea that a person can fail for eternity. Consequently, we begin to live by the rules of an external authority whose main goal is to maintain power. Being an adult means becoming a cog in the machine. It means we are no longer allowed to be children. And not being allowed to be children anymore means no longer being able to fully trust life. Joy, play, and creativity fade and are replaced by fear and obedience. We gradually begin to perceive life as empty and meaningless because we have stopped listening to our inner life force. This is how a permanent crisis of meaning is born. As long as we continue to consider the question of meaning through the lens of right/wrong, the crisis will never end, because that lens is its very cause. So let's take off those glasses and look at what we call mistakes from a different perspective. Mistakes, a different perspective. Sometimes in life things go terribly wrong. A drunk driver kills a child, for example. Both the parents and the perpetrator remain scarred forever. That it is a tragedy is beyond question. But what if we did not consider the isolated event, but observed it from a much broader perspective, from the point of view of the universe, the whole in which every single life is embedded? Could we still speak of mistakes as something that simply went wrong? Our judgment of what is wrong is closely tied to our perspective, and particularly to our sense of time. We see a time before the mistake, the moment of the mistake, and the time after, past, present, and future. Within this framework, we hope for healing, reconciliation, or meaning. But how does the same reality appear when viewed from a timeless perspective where the universe is considered an indivisible whole? A common metaphor is that of a clock. If a clock has faulty gears, we say it is broken. The whole does not function as it should. Similarly, it is argued that if the universe contains errors, then the whole is imperfect. But if the universe is fundamentally imperfect, existence itself becomes problematic, a meaningless endeavor with no alternative. How can the whole be good when it contains so much suffering and so many failures? Let's try a different metaphor: the book. A good book is not one in which nothing bad happens. On the contrary, a good book is meaningful and profound precisely because things go wrong. Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment is a classic example. The protagonist, Raskolnikov, commits a double murder and is then tormented by guilt and remorse. The story is full of descriptions of suffering and moral collapse, and yet that is precisely where its power lies. It explores the inner consequences of guilt with extraordinary depth. Why do we find such a book valuable? Because the reality it describes is not our personal reality. We enter it temporarily and from a safe distance. We can close the book and walk away. At the same time, it reveals something profound about the human condition, about guilt, responsibility, and inner conflict. It enriches us without hurting us personally. This leads to an important insight. A reality can be full of errors and suffering when viewed from within, yet be meaningful and even valuable when viewed from without. The small universe of a book derives its meaning not despite its errors, but precisely because of them. Can we apply the same principle to the universe itself? What appears as an error in the flow of time may, from a timeless perspective, be an essential part of a meaningful whole, a whole that we, living inside it, can only experience in fragments and from within. Meaning emerges when we combine both perspectives. Can we compare our lives to a book we are reading? And if so, does this perspective give life meaning? Our life as a book we are reading. If our life is a book, who is the reader? This is the fundamental question. Is life an isolated event, or is it part of something greater that gives it meaning? Only in the second case do our missteps, errors, and failures take on a different weight. They are no longer simply mistakes, but necessary passages in the story of our lives. My answer is yes. There is a higher perspective within us that I call the soul, not as religious dogma, but as a living inner reality, a dimension of ourselves that is not bound by time, space, or personal history. It rises above them, and from that perspective, every experience of our lives gains meaning. You can deny it, but then you must accept that a life can indeed fail, that it ultimately has no meaning, and that it simply ends with death. The person disappears without a trace, as if they never existed. In the end, everything fades into an infinite night. Whether your life has meaning depends entirely on the perspective you adopt. It is a choice. Do you answer yes to this question? Does my life have meaning even when things go wrong, even when it is sometimes unhappy? Life can only have meaning if you see and experience yourself as more than a random individual placed in a random time and place. It can only have meaning if there is something within you that transcends time and space, namely, the soul, the timeless light that you truly are. When you open to this possibility, something changes. Victimhood gives way to the awareness of being a student, someone who is here to learn, who is allowed to make mistakes, who does make mistakes, and who grows through those mistakes. Mistakes become sources of wisdom and insight. You begin to feel the support of a loving presence on your path. You are no longer alone. The perspective flips. The book metaphor goes further. A reader does not want a flawless story. On the contrary, a good story needs conflict, misjudgments, and moral blindness. Without errors, there is no growth. Without crises, there is no depth. Without mistakes, there is no real learning. What the protagonist perceives as a catastrophe is often precisely the moment when the story becomes truly interesting for the reader. This completely flips the perspective. What I personally consider a mistake, the soul perceives as a necessary experience, the spark of transformation. The story cannot freeze. It must continue to unfold. No stagnation, only growth. That is why we do not just make mistakes. We are structured in such a way that certain mistakes are inevitable. Our personality already carries the seeds of our missteps. Just as Raskolnikov's moral superiority drives him to commit his crimes, our character gets us into trouble at critical moments. In this sense, imperfection is not a flaw but a requirement. Without error, there is no insight. Without trauma, there is no healing. Imperfection is what the soul needs to realize itself. Let this idea penetrate you. The force that gives life meaning within us does not yearn for a perfect life. It yearns for valuable experiences. It wants us to stumble, to get lost, and to meet ourselves in the resistance of life. We are made for this. Our character is our destiny, but we are so much more than just our character. And they all lived happily ever after. Many stories, especially fairy tales, end with the words, and they all lived happily ever after. This ending is deeply symbolic. The story of our lives ends with death. After that comes the reunion of the masculine and feminine within us, the awakening to our true essence. A new chapter of peace and deep happiness then begins, at least for a time, with no further adventures. When can we say, closing the book of our lives, what a wonderful life? We can say it when our lives have given us new experiences and encounters that have enriched us inwardly. A life full of mistakes is usually rich in valuable lessons. The purpose of life, the purpose of a good book, is not to portray a perfect world with perfect people. Its purpose is to enrich our minds and show us aspects of outer and inner reality we did not know before. This is exactly what life on Earth does for us. Even a life that seems monotonous or colorless gives us something, if nothing else, a sense of longing. We cannot miss something that is not already present within us. That very longing contains a discovery, the discovery of our inner miracle, the splendor of our soul. In short, when we free ourselves from right/wrong dichotomies, we realize that mistakes are the very stuff from which a meaningful life is built. They lead to experiences, insights, and adventures we would never otherwise know. Life is not an exam to pass, but a journey full of twists and turns, rich with possibility, growth, and wonder. In every misstep and unexpected turn lies the seed of meaning. Life is meaningful precisely because it is human, full of errors and, consequently, rich with opportunities to learn, feel, and grow. Conclusion: the value of being human from the soul's perspective, every human experience is unique and precious. There is loneliness, pain, and failure, yes, but also the beauty of a flower or a kind gesture. Even ordinary, everyday moments enrich the soul. Yet the most precious thing of all is discovering who you truly are. A fish does not know what water is until it jumps out of it. Similarly, the soul loses touch with itself in the human and rediscovers itself precisely through that separation. Our deepest suffering is this sense of separation from ourselves. Why do we go through it? Because that separation makes possible a great adventure, the discovery of the cosmos, the journey home, and the rediscovery of our inner light. A flower, a sunrise, beautiful music, love in someone's eyes, wise words. All of these remind the soul of itself. The soul sees its reflection and recognizes its beauty. This is possible only because human consciousness begins with the suppression of soul awareness. Becoming human means choosing loneliness, ignorance, and freedom, the freedom to make mistakes. From that place, we embark on foolish ventures, embrace bizarre ideologies, and even start wars, until the magnificent rediscovery comes, the awakening of the soul, the awakening of ourselves. The more deeply we feel its absence, the more wonderful the final discovery becomes. Nothing is meaningless. Every misstep is an opportunity to feel and to grow. In our mistakes, we discover the divine. Copyright Gerrit Gielen, Goddess of Light. Finding joy in your life, or the fire horse leads to joy. Namasika, Vinya Benya, I am the one, I am the whole. I greet you, beloved family. I send you a hug from the depths of my heart. I contact you at this very moment to connect with each of you. This is a time of transformation. This is a time of opportunity in which you can realize everything you have ever wanted for yourself. It is the light. It is the frequency. It is the vibration. It is everything inside and around you that creates your life. Choose a life that brings you joy. Choose a life that allows you to feel expanded and enveloped by the love and light that are always here for you. Take another deep breath, and this time visualize that sphere of light rotating within your heart center. As you connect with this chakra, allow yourself to feel, see, or perceive that flow and movement as they are. It goes forward, backward, inside, and around your heart center. Once this alignment is established, send it through your solar plexus, your sacral center, your root, and let it descend into the earth so that it spreads, anchoring you to different levels of consciousness within the earth. Everyone experiences grounding differently. There is no right or wrong way. The reason we always prefer to ground into the earth is that Gaia herself emanates pulses of light. Therefore, as your energy spreads from the point you have created within you, you receive pulses of energy and light coming from the earth. This is where you anchor and are supported. Let your consciousness rise back up through that flow. Ascend high and pass through your heart center to reach your throat center. Reach your third eye, your crown center, and as you begin to rise toward your higher self, you also connect with the crystalline energy inside and around you. When you connect with your higher self, feel the energies expand. In this space, I invite you to take a moment to feel that flow coming from your soul and that flow coming from your human existence. You will then recognize how the fusion of these two energies gives even more depth and a broader perception to your higher self. Send that flow of energy even farther. Simply follow that flow of light. It moves upward. It immediately connects to your soul. As you open your consciousness, some of you may see this bright light as you connect with your soul. Others may have the sensation of simply becoming larger. Still others may feel connected to something even greater. Almost everyone has greater access to your soul than you have had in the past. Open this energy so that you can perceive what it is. I, the goddess, walk among each of you. I reach out and join my energies with yours. In doing so, everything transforms, becoming part of all that is. Coming within all that is, several things have appeared to my awareness. The Namasika room is a space within this space. It is a place of consciousness. A place where many people go if they seek to create change or manifest something in their lives. The Namasika room is right here, and it is open. It is as if we have passed through it. Then, coming to another part of all that is, a change is also perceived here. It is as if there is an expansion or an opening to the universe deeper than before. You will recall the last time we gathered, it was around the equinox, in spring or autumn, depending on where you are. That energy of balance from the equinox is still here, still present. Allow your attention or perception to feel what it means to you, or to know what it means to you. Tonight I would like to speak a little about joy. Joy is the foundation of so many things in life. If you feel you are living a joyless life, this constricts and limits you drastically. When you open the door to joy and let it into your life, it immediately expands whatever you are feeling or experiencing. As I connect with people, it feels as if these changes taking place on the planet have pushed each of you into a place where you feel cornered. That is the phrase that came to me. In your life, do you feel disappointment? Things you thought would have happened by now have not occurred. Things you believed would manifest have not manifested. I also feel that many of you are experiencing this feeling of heaviness, sadness, and depression. I perceive it as I connect with you, and it is an energy that hasn't been felt like this for 2 years or more. I believe this is the result of a purification process where people, instead of releasing it completely, continue to hold on to something. So this feeling persists, and that is what I see when I observe so many people. So reflect on your life. It makes me smile every time I say this, because people's experiences are so different from one another. Reflect on your life and the ways you still feel anchored, or still dragged down, or still as if you are not where you want to be. Okay, thank you all for showing me this. In my view, it is as if this web of energy is moving through people. Part of it seems to be activated by your unconscious. Other parts seem to be part of your consciousness. So, in other words, this frustration, depression, and anger I perceive are the reflection of something that has been triggered inside and around you. So, first of all, breathe. Breathe deeply into your consciousness. Let the love of your soul enter you. Some people know exactly what that feels like, while others, I sense, wonder what it means. We have just passed through your soul as we arrived here, in the all that is. So if you look back or to the side, your soul is right there. It is that bright light shining upon you. Take a deep breath and imagine feeling that light enter you, enter your lungs, enter your consciousness. Feel what it means to you. Now let that light illuminate your life. I see in many of you that deep spiral of energy that keeps coming up, again and again. No matter where it anchors within you, whatever is associated with this frustration, anger, depression, whatever it is that keeps you stuck, it is as if you are peeling away layers, reaching the core. Find whatever it is, and then, as if you begin to pull it, you bring it out, bring it out, bring it out, and let it go. Look at that space inside you where you have just released those energies. As you open your heart, allow even more light from your soul to integrate within you, so that it shines all around you. Look deeply into that space. No matter what it is, help bring it out, help lift it, help extract everything that no longer helps you grow. Bring it out, bring it out, bring it out. Phew, I just heard someone say, am I not growing through these trials and tribulations? Some of you are. So I am sending a white light through everyone's consciousness, so that this time, as you look at that spiral of your life and as you look at any emotion, energy, or belief system that may no longer serve you, let it be illuminated so that you can simply bring it up, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. Phew. There. A change needs to be introduced in people's belief systems. For a long time, for people to free or purify themselves, whether it was karma or things that blocked them, it was necessary to relive that experience. It was necessary to understand its impact. It was necessary to be certain it was real. That is no longer necessary. In the higher vibrational energies, You can see the frequency or energy of whatever it is, and you can use it to connect and cleanse what holds you back. So, looking at the essence, looking at the energy, again, feel yourself bringing it up, bringing it up, bringing it up. Phew. There. I hear a message for some. Even if you have removed every single obstacle from your life, why are you not happy? As I say this, I hear a couple of messages. One is, I will never be able to get rid of this thing, and I sense that some of you do not even know it. Others, however, tell me, I can remove it as much as I want, but it is still there inside me. I invite you to mount the fire horse. Remember, about a month ago the new year began, and are we now in the year of the fire horse? It is a very powerful symbol of liberation and purification. So I invite you to mount the fire horse and let go. Let it run or gallop as far as it needs. The unique advantage of this is that you will not burn. You will not burn yourself, but you will purify whatever is inside you. If you can stay on the back of that fire horse and let it burn away old beliefs, let it burn away every old feeling you have. Let it burn away everything you no longer need. Because we are in a new space-time reality. It is time for you to step into whatever that may be. The interesting thing is that now I see this fire horse returning to the space of all that is. For many of you, it is as if you have transformed into something brilliant, like a white golden bronze. It is a wonderful light, more than clear, more than white. It is full of deep, intense hues, so much so that you are now enormous and the horse is small. When you return to all that is and dismount that horse, you pause for a moment and look into each other's eyes. This horse has played a very important role in your life. It has played an important role in the lives of much of humanity, and this sacred fire horse can purify anything, whether you are aware of it or unaware. Simply let it dissolve and leave. Now I see you all, each in your own space, your reactions. Some of you are laughing, and it is as if you are communicating with each other. Others sit in peace and silence, letting this feeling penetrate deeper and deeper within them. This is how you create change in your life, and it can be absolute and permanent. There is no need to cling to that old energy. It is over. It is finished. Now is the time to breathe deeply and become the human expression of your soul. Again, I feel the expansion in everything. Reflect, if you wish, on how this represents a spiritual ascension. Reflect, if you wish, on the fact that the foundation of spirituality is your alignment with your soul, your alignment with God, your alignment with all the essence of universal light. As you allow everything to transform, you fill yourself with your soul, love, light, and energy. The more you do this and practice it, the stronger and more open your alignment with your divinity will be. Breathe in and out all that this can be for you. I invite you to gather as a group. As you look at each other, practice for a moment expressing yourselves as your soul. Express yourselves as love, and you will notice how you interact with much more ease and fluidity. Within this circle of light, see the hologram of the earth emerging. This hologram stops in the center of everyone, and it seems to move, to rotate. Send to the hologram yourselves the expression of your soul. As that light, energy, and frequency move within it, the hologram itself seems to expand and radiate light. There is that aspect that projects out toward the universe. As the rest descends, it descends through the collective consciousness, purifying it. It anchors into the earth, and as it anchors into the earth, it rises back up through the point where you anchored into Gaia. Feel how that energy is anchoring within you. Let your consciousness return to all that is, and it flows back down. It flows through your soul, your higher self, and pours into you as a human expression. As it integrates within you, I invite you to connect with the energies surrounding you. Can you perceive this difference? Can you feel how you have purified that overlay or that low vibration that was so evident in all that is? This is sending a brilliant frequency of light to all of humanity. This is purifying the collective consciousness as it anchors within each of you. Take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Whatever is happening in your life, I invite you to always return to that space where the energies have changed. The energies have transformed. The energies vibrate as a crystalline light. This means they affect your physical body, your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, your spirituality. They affect every part of you. So call upon that fire horse whenever you need it. Work with what surrounds you to help create changes and transitions in your life. Dearest ones, know that I am always with you and within you. Ancilia, the 12D creators, the best version of Earth that is coming. We are the creators. We are a collective of non-physical beings from the 12th dimension, and we are here to help you. We agreed to participate in your evolution of consciousness from the beginning of life on planet Earth, and we will continue to be with you because we love you deeply and because we honor this agreement. We enjoy watching you grow and witnessing all your interactions with one another. You are truly fascinating, and we know that you will benefit from everything you are experiencing right now, sooner or later, over the course of your experience as conscious beings. Therefore, we are able to perceive everything you are going through in a positive way. We can see how it affects you positively and how you will benefit from it in the future. We invite you to embrace this perspective. In other words, nothing has been a waste of time, a waste of energy, a waste of money. No relationship has been a failure. You are benefiting from every single moment you live on Earth, and when you recognize that, you can benefit even more from every experience. So we will not only remind you of this in words, but also through our energy transmission. Every teaching we offer you is accompanied by an energy transmission, and this energy transmission is imbued with the awareness that you are always moving towards something better and more. We invite you all to join us in this vibration right now. We invite you all to see your current life circumstances as serving you greatly, and we invite you all to co-create with us the best version of the Earth you wish to live on. You are creating and expanding tremendously when you face your greatest challenges here on Earth. We invite you to perceive this expansion and to visualize what that better world might look like, how it might feel, and how your best life experience might be perceived. Seize the opportunity and take advantage of the expansion, because it is your birthright. You created it, and you might as well benefit from it. Let go of the idea that you are stuck, trapped in a cycle, or in a stalemate. You are always in a state of creation and expansion, constantly rising to a higher level of consciousness and a higher vibrational state. It may not always seem that way to you, but you will have to take our word for it. Know that you are also contributing significantly to the evolution of all humanity's consciousness, and if you want to experience what that feels like, tune into how your fellow humans are evolving right now. This possibility is available to you at every moment. Finally, do your best to enjoy the journey through all the challenges, all the ups and downs of being human on planet Earth, because joy is there, and you can find it if you look carefully enough. We are the creators, and we love you very much.